Hey yo, it's your boy Caleko. Today on Mining America, we're going to be talking about safety. Safety while you're carving rocks and gemstones, and we don't want you to get sick, and we don't want any of your loved ones to get sick. It's a horrible way to die. More of that right after this. Now, I read an article on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, and it really opened my eyes to the effects that the dust can have from doing lapidary work. And it's not just the dust from lapidary work, it's also the dust from mining and rock hounding. Depending on how much mining and rock hounding you do, and the types of minerals you go after, and the amount of dust that's kicked up into the air, or even the areas that you're in, and the amount of dust that is naturally there, it can be extremely harmful to you. Now, in doing research for this video, I read this 15-page postgraduate medical journal entry, and it's about 15 pages, and it goes over a lot of stuff that, in general, to sum it up in a very short paragraph, that almost every kind of dust out there is hazardous to your health. There's very few types of dust that are not hazardous to you. Wood dust is hazardous to you. The majority of rock dusts are hazardous to you. Metal dusts are hazardous to you. And even the dust from vegetables. Not meaning that when you buy your vegetables at the store that you have to worry about the dust on them, or even when you're cleaning them in your kitchen that you have to worry about the dust on them. But if you happen to work at a factory that uses vegetables in any sort of way to where that would be creating the dust from the vegetables, from the cleaning of them and from the skinning of them, that dust has been found to cause people pulmonary issues in the long run. So I'm not going to go over everything that's in this medical journal because it's just too long-winded and covers so many different areas and uses a lot of big words that I don't know how to say. I can sort of read them, but I don't know how to pronounce them properly, so I'm probably not reading them properly either. But I will sum up a few things in here, in that there has been correlation between almost every type of rock dust out there to cause one type of pulmonary disease or another. Now, what I'll do is I will read a couple of paragraphs out of this journal while I put up a video of me carving, because I recorded some slow motion video of me carving, and I really wanted you to see that what I hadn't been paying attention to previously is what you wear and having a outfit for carving fire agate, for doing lapidary in general, especially if it's going to be spraying anything at you at all, is super important. And having a mask is super important. A dust mask helps. A painter's respiratory mask helps even more. It'll last you a little bit longer. You won't need to change the cartridges out as fast on a painter's lapidary mask as you will on a dust mask. The dust masks don't quite last as long, and they don't pull as much stuff out of them. And hey, if the coronavirus gets really, really bad, this mask will help you for that too, or at least the P100 mask will help prevent you from getting any of that also, I should say.
I don't know. They didn't want your input. I guess, even though it's a lot of what's in there.
Now, I shot a whole bunch of slow motion video to try and get some shots where you can see the dust and the water being kicked back at my direction. I also am wearing a black overshirt so that it will pick up video and pictures so that I can show you after I get done carving what I look like, especially since I carve using a lot of water. Yet I don't want to get too far into that before I read you some of the stuff I've found in both the postgraduate medical journal and from that other article that I referenced earlier. In one of my previous videos, I showed you guys how to build the carving station that you see me using here. And one of the great things about the carving station is it keeps a lot of your overspray condensed into one area, and that makes it easier to clean up. So I would definitely recommend, if you haven't built yourself a carving station yet and you plan on carving fire agate, go ahead and build one so that you can have an easy area to clean up instead of stuff being sprayed all over the place and you not really knowing where is a good area to clean. Some rock dust and mineral dust has been known to cause pulmonary carcinoma, lung cancer. This is one of the many things I found out while I was reading the Postgraduate Medical Journal. Now, before I get more into the Postgraduate Medical Journal and that other article I referenced earlier, make sure you keep an eye on the glass, because before I started, it was completely clean, and while carving, you can see that the spray is hitting the glass. Now, this wheel works both ways, so almost whatever spray you end up seeing hitting the glass with particles of dust and rock in it along with water is also getting flipped back towards the carver, which in this case would be me. This Postgraduate Medical Journal covered a whole lot of stuff, and the mineral dust section gives us a really good insight into the type of things that can happen to you if you don't take the proper precautions. Some of the more common problems will be nose and throat irritation and ulcerations, along with alkalitis and arsenical compounds can cause all kinds of issues like carcinoma. Manganese and cadmium are known to cause pneumonitis, a type of pneumonia. Salts of platinum have been known to cause the miner's asthma. Guaranteed I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, but beryllium can also cause granulomata. Lots of different minerals start off as pneumonia and turn into other things such as nodulars for cancer, fibrosis, and emphysema. The causes of a lot of that stuff is iron and tin, coal, the coke from coal, and asbestos, which ends up being in a lot of different minerals that people like to carve, like tiger's eye. There's a lot of tiger's eye out there that has asbestos in it. This story is written by Douglas Hamilton, and the pictures inside the article are by him also. If you would like to read the original article, I will leave a link down below in the description. Also, you can find it in my Facebook page in my Mining America group or page. I'm not sure if I put it in the group or the page. You know, I should do it in both of them. Instead of reading the article verbatim, which would take me about 10 or 15 minutes on top of what I've already done in this video, I'm going to give you a shorter, condensed version of what I read. Once again, if you'd like to check out the rest of the article, the link will be in the description below. Mr. Hamilton had been collecting gems and minerals and rocks for about 30 years. After that 30 years, he had decided that he wanted to get into cutting some of them and making cabochons. So he got himself some equipment, and after a few months of cutting on some of these rocks and minerals that he had, he started having health problems. He started having pain in his lungs, and he started being short of breath. So he went to a doctor, found out some of the stuff he had going on, and then he started doing some research into some of the minerals that he had been cutting on and finding out that they are definitely the cause of his ills. As what's on the screen, like it says, some forms of rock dust are very poisonous in and of themselves, and it's not just even the buildup of the fibrosis, which is fibers getting caught in your lungs, that will be causing the problem. It can be just being poisoned from the dust from the minerals that are in the dust. A quote from his story: "Each rock has its own signature of impurities. It is worth remembering that other closely related copper compounds are highly bioactive and have been used in pesticides, fungicides, and wood preservatives for decades. This is dangerous material. These high copper rocks should not be licked to bring out the color, and oil mixed with the dust should be carefully cleaned off exposed skin." One of the most commonly cut minerals out there is different kinds of silicates. Fire agate is a type of silicate. Gem silica in general, like Australian chrysocolla, is another type of silica, and that dust will give you silicosis, and these are horribly slow ways to die. People are on oxygen for 20 years in horrible conditions before they finally expire from their sicknesses. Most of us use water already when cutting rocks, and although that is a step to protecting yourself, the real first step you should take is getting a proper dust mask of some kind. And some kind is the wrong word, because I'm not talking about these types of dust masks. These cheap dust masks do not work very well. They will not truly protect you over a long period of time. They are better than nothing, but they're not much better than nothing. I absolutely recommend that you get a face-fitting dust mask at the very least. One that goes around your chin and around your nose and has cartridges on it. At the very least, one of those. Although I highly recommend getting yourself a paint respirator which pulls out organic fumes out of the air. It lasts longer and the cartridges need to be changed less, and it will absolutely protect you very, very well while you're carving or doing any sort of lapidary. Now here I'm showing you all of the dust particles and water spray that got on my clothing, and you can see it all over my chest. It's all over the mask, it's all over the glasses, which means it's all over my face, and it's all over my hat too. Now your hands you're not too much worried about. They're really easy to clean and we're really used to it. But in the beginning I talked about having an outfit to carve in, and I think this is rather important. As you can see, it's very easy for me to wipe that dust off of this windbreaker I have on because of the kind of material it's made out of. So I would suggest getting a similar type of windbreaker or wearing an overshirt of something that's easy to wipe off, and also a hat or something that covers your hair so that you don't have to take a shower or rinse your hair every time you get done doing some lapidary work. You can just take that ball cap off and put it someplace else and not have to worry about that dust coming out of your hair and getting into your nostrils and around your face. I also suggest that anytime you're done working your lapidary, that you clean off your face and your dust mask and anything else you might have on there so that that can go into the laundry and that can be washed, and you don't have to worry about the dust particles second hand in some way affecting you or affect your loved ones or anybody else that might be in that area with you. When I get done cleaning, I even wipe my whole face down now because I want to make sure that I do not end up with this silicosis disease. I have a family member of mine that has trouble breathing, and I'm pretty sure it's because of all the woodworking she used to do. Now, if you wear glasses like I do, you definitely want to rinse them with water and not just wipe them off. If you wipe them off with the dust and the particles that get sprayed on them, you're going to leave scratches and scars. So the best thing you can do is rinse them really good with water and then wipe them off so you don't ruin them. Keeping your work area generally clean from all of the built up dust is another big deal. You can see I have my spray that was left here while I was recording this video, but in general, I wipe all of this off before it gets too much of a buildup so that that stuff doesn't get kicked back up in the air and end up causing me problems in the future. One of the other things you want to do, you want to use a vacuum with a HEPA filter to clean up your area. You don't want to use a broom because then that kicks up all that dust into the air and puts it in other places. Now, a lot of this advice I got off of that article I told you about. So I would recommend go ahead and reading the article. It's a really good article. Link will be in the description down below. Now, I can't make enough recommendations about keeping yourself safe from catching a disease in the future. I myself cannot afford the doctor's bills if I were to get a pulmonary disease right now, silicosis, or any of the other things. There are a lot of bad things that can happen when you are carving or cutting or doing any sort of lapidary when you are working with the types of minerals that we tend to work with. And it's not just the minerals. Even some of the polishing powders and pastes, if they get atomized into the air and you breathe them in, they can cause you a lot of problems later on in life. One of the main things that a lot of lapidary people use, aluminum oxides and cerium oxides. And these are really, really fine ground powders. That's how they put such an amazing finish on some of the stones, that really see-through glass-like finish. You get them from these super, super fine powders, which when they're put into the air and you breathe them in, they're going to cause you major health problems. And it's just not worth it. It's not worth the health issues. So wear a mask, clean your areas up, take care of yourself, and there's a lot of fire agate that's been posted inside of my store, and I'm posting more, just like I'm posting videos more. Not as much as I'd like to, but I'm definitely doing more than I did last year, that's for sure. So there's great fire agate in this store. I want you to stay safe when you go carving and cutting any of your gemstones, but at the same time, I want you to learn and understand how to carve and cut your own gemstones. So I love you for watching. I'll see you soon.